In this demonstration, I'm going to show you how to create the kind of page in InDesign that I want you to create for this assignment. And so in order to do that, I'm going to change this to InDesign. And remember how we've made our portfolio so far, and I have these pictures and then this text. But we're going to go to another page. And so I'm going to go to this page 2 and 3 spread right here. And I want to create a layout that has, for this assignment, 4 pictures. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 pictures with the caption underneath each one, and then a dialogue or a text box down here, and then a title. So I'm going to start with the title. I'm going to click on the T, and I'm going to create a text box for the title, and this is going to be called Shutter Priority. S-H-U-T-T-E-R priority. And I want to center that, so I'm going to center that, and then I'm going to select it all by going Control A, and then I'm going to make it bigger holding my Shift Control key and then the greater than sign that's just above the Alt key next to the question mark. And Shutter Priority. There it is. I'm going to click on this selection tool. I'm just going to kind of move that down a little bit. I can use a different font if I want, but if you choose a different font, select something that looks good. Don't choose something that's hard to read like a script or like an old English style font. I'd like you to choose serif or sans serif. This has little serifs on it, little wings on the letters are serifs. The other kinds that are sans serif are like this. So I'm going to go to type and use font, and a sans serif font is like Arial. So I'll choose Arial right here. Regular, and notice how that doesn't have any little wings on it or anything. I'm going to go back to the serif font so you can see that's serif and the other one doesn't. All right, now I'm going to create a row of 2 pictures right here. But first of all, I'm going to look at my pictures. So I'm going to hop back into Bridge. You go Control Tab to just bounce between applications. And notice I have all these images right here. The images are all in this landscape orientation, wider than it is tall. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to make 2 spaces for 2 pictures. So I'm going to grab my rectangle frame. I'm going to start right here, right at the edge. And I'm going to drag. As I drag across, I'm going to hit the arrow button. And I'm going to make space for 2 images. It looks about the same aspect, as wide and tall as I have over here in Bridge. See, that's pretty wide compared to how tall it is. Now, I'm going to do one other thing with this. I'm going to, since those are both selected right there, I'm going to hold down my Alt key, and I'm going to click in here, and I'm going to drag. And notice as I drag, it copies that same format right there. And so I have these 2 spaces. I have frames for 2 images I'm going to drop in there in a minute. And then I have other 2. Now I'm going to also create 2 text boxes. So I'm going to create a text box going across right here, just like I did before. And then I'm going to hit the arrow key, the right arrow key, so it split it into 2. Okay, isn't that easy? And that's what I should have done in the first place. Actually, I'm going to delete these right here. And I'm going to just select all these. And then I'm going to, again, hold down the Alt key. See how I selected it by clicking on the black arrow tool? And then I just dragged across all 4 of those objects. Then I'm going to hold down the Alt key. I'm going to drag that down. Now notice it kind of snaps into place. If I want to just drag it straight down without having to worry about it snapping into place, I hold the Shift key and it drags it straight down. And I want one more text box here. And so I'm going to create T, and I'm going to run a text box here. This is where you're going to write your explanation of what you did right here, of what shutter speed does. Now I'm going to go back to Bridge. So I'm going to Alt Tab, go to Bridge, and I'm going to look at these images right here. See all these images I have? Now, these pictures were taken for the shutter speed, the shutter priority lesson. And if we look right here, it shows the information for this. Notice how there's 2 pictures for each one. I had the camera set so that it takes a CR2, a camera raw image, and a JPEG for each one. I'm just going to use the JPEGs. So actually, I'm going to sort this. I'm going to sort it by file type, and that way all my CR2s will be together and all my JPEGs, notice they start together. They're just the same pictures except in 2 different styles. All right, so I'm going to start with this picture right here. And this picture was taken at the f-stop of 16, a shutter speed of 1/40th, which is pretty slow. And we did that on purpose so that you could see the motion in me as I ran right here. And you'll notice how big it is, 3888 by 2592 pixels. It's 2.79 megabytes. By the way, just so you know, the same image as a CR2 is 9 megabytes. As a JPEG, 2.79. So it's 1/3 the size. That's just good to know. So we're going to take this. I'm just going to drag this over kind of off screen a little bit. I'm going to take this image. I'm going to drag it right into this frame. Blam. Now, you can't really see it, can you? So we're going to go into Bridge, into inDesign, and I'm going to find the command that lets me, well, I'm just going to right click on it, and I'm going to tell it to size it for the frame. Okay, let me click on it. Oh, I have the text tool active. That's why I didn't see it. So now I can do it. Now, so if you make that mistake, just click on the black arrow tool over here, and then you'll be able to see the correct things. I'm going to go to fitting, and then I want to fit content to frame. That's what I want, because the content is a picture, and we fit the content to frame. And what happened is, in this picture, I ran through the frame. The person taking the picture held the camera still and took the picture as I ran through. So the background's kind of sharp, but I'm blurry because I was taking it 1/40th of a second. And I'm going to go back here to Bridge, and we're going to look at the metadata for that again. Same picture. It's f16 at 140 at ISO 200. So I'm going to write here what I took this picture at. This picture was taken at 1/40th of a second. And I'm going to put a semicolon, and it was at f16, and semicolon ISO 200, and that was that's the sensor sensitivity to light. So there we go. I've taken that image in there, and I'm going to throw one other image, and this was taken at 1/1000th of a second at f5 with ISO 400, and I'm going to drag that image into the other side. Oops. Let me see if I can. I'll just drag it from here. So I'm going to go right here. I'm going to drag that right there. Bam. And notice I still have the text tool active, so I'm going to click on the selection tool, and then I'm going to right click. I'm going to click on there and then go to content and fitting. I'm sorry, right click on it, not to content, and go to fitting, and then go again to fit content to frame. And there's me running through that. Running through that frame. By the way, I was just going to show you, I'm going to zoom in on this a little bit. I'm going to go to the film strip so you can see that a little better. Notice as you zoom in on me, it drives me crazy. Oh, well, I guess we can do this. As you zoom in on me, you can see that the image is pretty sharp right there, fairly sharp. It was at ISO 400, so, you know, it was fairly sharp. This one, when you zoom in on me, let's see if we can, oh, there we are. Notice how it's a little bit fuzzy as I ran through the frame, but notice that the things around, this is taken at 3/20th of a second, 1/320th. So everything around is fairly sharp. The things are supposed to be in focus at least. But when you go to me, because I was moving through the frame, I'm a little blurry. It looks like apparently this hand was moving faster than this hand when this shot was taken. Okay, so that's good to see. And then on the one that was 1/40th of a second, notice how blurry I am going through that. But this other stuff is fairly sharp. 1/40th of a second. It's hard to take a really sharp image of something that's at 1/40th of a second. There's a stare. Not super sharp, but it's okay. All right. Now I'm going to head back to inDesign. Whoops, I moved to Bridge. I'll have this other Bridge thing. I'm going to close that one. Go back to inDesign, and I want to grab two others right here. I'm going to throw them in really quick. So I'm just going to go Bridge, and these are one where we panned with the camera. So here's I'll look a little sharper, but the background will look blurry. So this was taken at 1/1000th of a second right here. So I'm going to throw that in right there. I'm going to right click on it. I'm going to fit and until it fit content frame. And hey, that didn't do it. Right click on again. There. Right click, fit content frame. I guess I can go Control Alt E to do that. I'll do that next time. Actually, I don't like that. I'm going to right click on it and choose fitting, fit content proportionally. That's what I want. I'm going to do that on this one. Fit content proportionally. There we go. Fit content, because it was looking kind of stretched out. Fit content proportionally. There we go. So what was the command on that? That was Control Alt Shift C. Oh wait, Control Alt Shift E. All right, now we're going to go. I'm going to throw one more right here, and that was the one where I took it at 1/40th of a second. There it is, so you can see that. The panning with it. So the camera followed me. Notice I'm sharper and the background is out of focus. It's blurry because it was panned. So that means when you just move the camera from side to side as something goes past. So I'm going to grab that image. I'm going to grab that image and put it right here. And remember what I'm going to do? It's going to be Control Alt Shift E, and that fits it proportionally. So everything looks good. Now I just got to put the sizes in here. I mean the information about each of these. Now down here, the last thing you're going to do is write an explanation of the effect of shutter speed on an image. Now you're not going to write this. You're not going to write an explanation of the effect of shutter speed on an image. You're going to tell me what effect changing the shutter speed has on the image. And it should be fairly apparent. If you want to make this a little more interesting by adding color or some lines or anything, you may. This is one of my longer videos, but if you pause as you go along and put this in, it'll look good. The last thing I got to show you is how to save this as a. We're going to export this page, just this page, as a PDF so that you can turn it in. The way you do this is not obvious. You don't go to export. What you do is you go to print, and then in print, instead of the printer, you want to change the printer. You want to change it to Adobe PDF because you want to export just the page as a PDF. And we're going to use page 2. Remember, because this was page 2 that I was working with. So I'm going to just type 2 right there, and that's all I want to do. And I also want to say where I'm going to print it. So when I click print, I get this dialog box that comes up. I have this thing that you can't see very well. You can see the bottom of it right here, but it says printing page 2, download, whatever. And you're going to want to save it in my documents, in your digital photography folder. You may want to make a folder for just assignments, but I'm going to, for the purposes here, I'm going to save it in my just on my desktop. And then I'm going to call it page 2. Oh no, shutter priority assignment. And I'm going to save it, and it'll export just that page, and it'll pop up in a window here in just a second. Here it is, and that's what it looks like. You can see it's kind of big. I'm going to, oops, I didn't mean to do that. I'm going to make this smaller so it'll fit in the window that we're looking at. There it is. That's what it looks like. And if you want to, you can even zoom in on that and see, zoom on each picture to see what it looks like. So notice that one, that one, that one, and that one. This is all PDF, and this PDF is what you were going to turn in Canvas.